Dude, tell me about this this 50K that you ran just eating pizza.
Yes, sir.
The video
yeah.
was so good for it. It was like dad cam style.
Yeah,
Whoever
yeah.
shot or edited that did such a good job.
Yeah, thank you. Austin Banks was the guy who shot it on like actual VHS with like the actual like cassettes.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. That was so fun. That was literally like, again, like I thought of it a week before. I messaged Pizza Tony and I was like, yo, what do you think if I just run 50K and I keep eating your pizza? Like I'm an ultra runner. I do this, I do that. Like I think it would be an amazing idea and we can make like a great video. And the first thing they replied to me is like, sounds like you just want some free pizza. And I was like, well, yeah. And he was like, never mind. Like that's a joke. We're in. Let's do it. And they were awesome. They were supplying pizza. I was so scared I was gonna like either poo my pants or throw up or something was gonna go horribly wrong, but I took it pretty conservative. I was eating like pretty chill pizza towards the end, like margarita pizza, so like nothing crazy. And yeah, it was a really fun day. It was like beautiful weather. I didn't push myself too hard. I think the 50K probably took me like 12 hours ish, maybe 11 hours.
Did you have a goal of like, okay, I'm going to eat an entire pizza? Or is it just like, I'm just going to get the 50K done and just use the pizza as fuel?
One slice every 5K. It's like I had to do it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And the route wasn't just any route. It was like from Pizza Tony, which is just like in the middle of the city.
This is in Montreal?
Yeah. All the way to the top of Mount Royal. So like every time I'm summiting the mountain, it's not that big. It's like 400 meters. But every time I'm going to the top, back down, top, back down.
Oh my gosh. Did you have any stomach issues or anything?
Not really. I was burping and the burps felt good. I was having electrolytes, water. I'm coming to find out that I have kind of a stomach of steel.
Yeah. Dude, that's helpful with these ultras. I think I'm starting to learn that about myself too. Like
It's the biggest difference maker.
I've really never had any stomach issues. Have you ever dealt with anything like that?
One time I just didn't have enough real food. This was during my 24-hour for my 24th birthday, where it was getting to me bad. Like it hurt so much that like a lot of my miles I just couldn't run just because like it was painful. Solved it by having like 2 or 3 chicken soups from like Campbell's and some ginger ale and just like breathing through it and just letting it pass. And then once I was able to stomach down food again, I was like, okay, back to potatoes, back to bread and croissants.
Yeah. What were you using before that? Was it just like gels and powders and stuff?
Yeah, I started off just doing gels. I was talking to one of my friends and I was like, man, it's so expensive to fuel all these runs. Like I'm trying to do 80-kilometer runs, all these like marathons every weekend. Like, well, how am I going to, I need a nutrition sponsor. And he was like, dude, it's not that hard. Just like make mashed potatoes. It's so cheap. And I was like, mind blown. Like put salt in your mashed potatoes and it fueled everything. And for the longest time I was known as like the potato guy because I would run around with these like Ziploc bags of mashed potatoes and it'd be like,
I mean, it's got carbs. Is there fat to potatoes or no? It's just probably pure carbs, right? Interesting. And you can put some salt on it for electrolytes?
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah, they worked really well. And I would have like nuts for fat or
Yeah.
just like anything, bacon.
And it was that race you were doing mashed potatoes when you had the stomach issues?
So it was the lack of mashed potatoes that I had the stomach issues.
Okay.
So it was my birthday. I was having so much fun. I had like 5 beers in the like 3 hours in, and candy and gels, and I was just like having a blast, like taking it not seriously whatsoever. And then like 10 hours in, I was like, oh, I'm feeling this.
Yeah, the sugar is not good for your stomach. I think that's usually what gets a lot of people. It's just the pure sugar that comes from gels. Like even like if I have a big like marathon workout or even after a marathon, and it's like that's all I have in my stomach is gels for the day. My stomach, it's like later in the day, it's like not too happy with me.
It's really bad.
But yeah. So what do you feel with now? Like this 100K you just did this last weekend. What did you feel for that? Yeah.
So during my days, like normal day-to-day life, I started adapting more of like an animal-based diet, which basically all I did was cut out pasta, cut out bread, cut out rice, and really just focus on like having meat every day. Like most of my meals contain meat.
Did you like ground beef or chicken, like any particular kind of meat?
I like it all. Like I grew up super traditional Eastern European diet where it was steak, potatoes, some type of green. That was like my supper 5 times a week. So eating steak is like, please.
Yeah.
It's an amazing diet to have. It's so easy to follow. And then cheese for dessert. It's like, hell yeah.
What do you do for carbs? Or do you do
fruits?
Carbs? Okay.
Yeah.
Any particular kind of fruit?
Anything that's on sale at the grocery store. Recently it's been pineapple.
Pineapple, really?
Yeah.
Pineapple's pretty good. Yeah, dude. I think the that carnivore slash keto animal based, whatever you want to call it, all kind of in the same bucket, I guess. I nothing has ever made me feel so good as I do that. Like I still have like 1 or 2 cheat meals a week, but I think it's the lack of processed foods more than anything. Like some people thrive on, vegan diets or just carnivore or just whatever. But I think as long as you're not eating a lot of processed stuff, that seems to be the key.
Yeah.
But I mean, meat, it's so easy for your body to process. It's like same thing with like if you do raw dairy, it's way easier for your body to process or fruit versus like this dense carbs and like bread and pasta and all that shit.
Yeah, that gives you that carb crash.
Yeah, you get this like roller coaster of energy levels. Whereas I feel like with the carnivore or animal based, it's just so much more consistent. What made you switch to that kind of diet?
I see these people that I look up to, like George St. Pierre and all these other athletes doing this diet. So I'm like, hey, I want to try. Like, what if I increase my performance even more? Like, how long could I run for?
Yeah. Did you notice a pretty big difference when you switched?
More like I'm not tired at 3 p.m. I don't need that afternoon coffee, and just like sharper.
Yeah.
Mentally sharper.
I feel that too. I mean, I know. Do you know Mike McKnight? I think I was talking to you about him the other day, the low carb runner on Instagram.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's like he's like the king of 200-mile races basically in the U.S. And then he's low carb, animal based. And then Zach Bitter, the American record holder for the 100-miler, he's low carb, mostly animal based. I think there's definitely something to it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it really works. I don't think you could do it for maybe during training for like marathons. But you definitely have to have more carbs for that, I think.
Yeah.
Which you could just eat more fruit. But would you consider your diet low carb or just animal based?
Low carb. I mean, like, yeah, I guess it's like animal favorable.
Right.
But there's this guy called Mark Sisson. I don't know if he's from Austin or not.
That's the Primal Kitchen guy, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Where he talks about being like metabolically flexible, which is like so cool because you asked me what I fueled with for the 25 summits, the 25th birthday with the marathon. And it was like, I started implementing carbs again. So I had like sweet potatoes. I had like these nice cookies, Oreos, a bunch of like canned soup. And then I take these Hornet gels that's just honey, matcha, and salt, which is like a really nice alternative. It's just like an organic gel.
Yeah.
Because if I take too many like of like the non-organic gels, like, dude, like you were saying, my stomach later in the day, it's bad.
All that processed sugar. Yeah. Have you tried Morton gels?
Oh my God, I'm addicted to Morton.
They're pretty good. And I just had a guy on the podcast talking about them. And I don't know how much you know about it, but that hydrogel technology that they use, the whole reason Morton is so unique is because it's still just that sugar you're getting. But because it's like encapsulated in that hydrogel, it's way easier on your stomach. So whatever they're doing definitely works pretty well. That's the only processed, non-organic gel I'd probably eat.